All right, so zone syncing. So zone syncing is when you zoom out, right? And let's say you're doing your 4-hour daily or weekly setup. And then we're finding our key levels of support resistance, our supply demand. We're identifying market structure, trends, patterns, all that stuff, right? Indicators, whether it's the 21 or the 200 EMA, any of that stuff. Just like any tools, as you add tools to your toolbox, one tool can actually do the job, right? But then there might be another tool that might be able to help you with the job, if not do the job better. So that's kind of how like my brain is compartmentalized as it relates to the skill set of trading. So zone syncing, good example would be we did our 4-hour supply zone, and then we have probably our 4-hour demand zone down below. Y'all see that? And it's pretty straightforward, the concept behind it. You have your supply, you have your demand. So you find your zones on a higher time frame. And then the syncing is when you zoom in to, let's say, the 1 minute or the 5 minute or whatever, and you're looking for entries around those levels, right? So that's price action syncing up with your setup, right? So price action on a lower time frame syncing up with the setup that you have for trading. So in this particular instance, if I go to this, say, the 15 minute, this is also going to play into entries, right? So we have our demand on the 4-hour chart. We have our supply on the 4-hour chart, right? And then, so what we're doing is now on this 15-minute chart, we're looking for like confirmations and stuff like that, right? So we are now coming into my demand zone. So this is the syncing of the data, right? This is price action pulling into a zone that I found on a larger time frame, right? This zone should be relatively strong, right? Because it's on a longer time frame. So what do we do? If you know that this is a 4-hour and you're a day trader or a swing trader, whatever it is, you are looking to see how price reacts once it hits this zone or starts to approach this zone. So what are we looking for as we approach this zone? One, as we approach like something like a demand zone, of course that means that we have a pullback, a sell-off, or whatever, right? So we'll be looking for something like lower vol. Okay, what else are we looking for? Thin candles. We're looking for price action. And then you can also look for indicators such as your EMAs, if you're using that stuff, if you're using MACDs, whatever you use for your strategy. This is kind of what you're looking for upon approach. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's bring up the volume. So if I go ahead and press this play button, what do we notice? What do we have right away? As volume is falling into this zone, what do we see? What on the list do we see happening? What do we see happening as we approach demand? Thin candles, yes. What else do we see? We got one checked. Lower volume, yes. Wicking, yes. Bottom wicks, right? That is another one we should add to the list. Those are key things we are looking for as price approaches demand. These are signals that tells us that there's a potential for a reversal occurring, okay? So let's fast forward a little bit. That's also part of candles thinning. So meaning your body, like you get less body, more wicks, right? So we'll play it through. Now, this chewed up through our demand zone, right? So sellers like, yeah, we still in here. And actually they picked up, right? And you would think, well, man, this demand zone was trash, right? Like now in the past, it probably held up, but now sellers came in pretty strong and they pumped through it. But I want you to identify that we did not confirm. Now, if you're holding this, then yes, you are taking an L if you don't kill your contract, right? But this is not confirmation below this level. Just because you see a candle fall below a zone does not mean that it has confirmed. It fell through, it hit my level essentially of 620.34, right? And now you're seeing a big body wick. Now, when you see something like this, if you see price fall through demand, one, you know buyers is trying to step in and slow them down. Let's press play. Okay, so the wicks happen, right? This is still not confirmation. Even though we have a candle that closed below, it's actually a bullish candle, right? You're looking for a solid red candle to close below this, right? And then the fact that this wicked back in, so this further tells me that this isn't a strong move to the downside. This was, but it's slowing down and buyers are stepping in. So when you see, like you see bottom wicks like this, and then you see price pump back into demand, and then the bottom of demand then becomes support, these are clear signs that you're likely in a bullish situation. You see the liquidity grab though. They are trying to trap people. This is what they do. But the bottom of this demand right now is your entry on something like this. And it's also your stop loss. So your entry is here. This is your move. And this is where you get a tight stop. You don't need to risk the bag because we already know if we fall below this that the play is still not valid, right? So this will become your support. So then what are we looking for? We're looking for the buyers to step in. We definitely see that the sellers are having a hard time to play it out. Now this is the 15-minute. Of course, if I were to go down to, let's say, the 5-minute where we would probably look for some entries. Now, mind you, this can be before market open or whatever. It's just for example training purposes, guys. So don't sweat it so much about where it is. But we fell through. We came back, retest. We have bottom wicks, and then we're back in, right? So this is your entry. Liquidity grab, and then your green candles opening within your demand zone. So you ride this wave all the way to the upside. And then your stop loss would be below the halfway point, in my opinion, of a demand zone. But you probably don't want to risk half your gains. So especially if you're like scalping or a day trader, right? So you probably want to take this, right? And then your stop loss would be if it breaches the demand zone again instead of finding support like it did here. So this would have been your first move, right? You have an inside bar now, which is bearish on this, right? And then you breach demand, which would have killed your contract, okay? Price action gives you a hammer, right? This hammer now becomes your new entry and your new stop loss, right? Below this hammer. Price action. The bottom right-hand corner that shows neutral is an inside bar, okay? An inside bar indicates consolidation or a pause in a trend's momentum. It's a pause in a trend's momentum. This is what this is. Okay, that's what this is. An inside bar. Okay, it's a pause. It's not a reversal candle. Okay, so that's your indication that, okay, well, we got some retracement that's likely going to happen here. And now you wait to the bottom of this trend, and then you look for things like hammer. That's where you have more wick than body, but you have a solid body at the top. That's your hammer. And then this becomes your stop loss. So this is your entry now and your stop loss. So you first win, second win, right? Now you're going to take this up, and your stop loss isn't going to be until, like, you wouldn't move your stop loss unless price lives below or starts to show some selling pressure going into demand. But that is it. Please let me know in the comments that this makes sense to you. And if there's some things that I talked about that you're not familiar with, that's fine. It's a learning process. If you're new, welcome, and hopefully you appreciate content like this. Welcome to Stocks for Real, Sacrifice for Riches. If you've been following my channel, you already know that it's about more than charts and plays. It's about building discipline, confidence, and a community of traders who look out for each other. By joining as a member, you're not just supporting the channel, you're unlocking tools and resources designed to help you grow as a trader. From rapid fire chart analysis and priority ticker requests to exclusive trade breakdowns and live Q&A sessions, you don't just watch me trade. You get to learn the mindset, the setups, and the strategies behind the moves. And the real benefit is that you'll be a part of a community that's committed to growth, accountability, and winning together. So if you're ready to level up your trading and join the community that values growth over hype, hit the join button and let's build together. I'll see you in the members tier, and I'll see you in the Discord. Take care.